So Chainlink looks to be within this 5-wave structure that I've been tracking, and the reason being is because this move to the upside for the wave 3 ended up reaching the 1.6 minute level as a minimum requirement, and therefore a 5-wave structure has been triggered. And most recently, I've been tracking this wave 4 to the downside, which typically retraces anywhere between 23.6% to 50% of the wave 3. And you can see that region sits between 17.46 cents to 22.35 cents. And this wave 4 looks to be made up of a WXY structure. So if I bring in the Fib tool and bring this to 25.64 cents, so you can see that the Y wave ended up tapping into that typical range for the Y wave, which is anywhere between 1 to 1.226, where we ended up reaching 19.82 cents. And so it's very much possible that we ended up forming the wave 4, and we could be within this wave 5 to the upside. And for that to be the case, what we need is for a 5-wave structure to form within this 5th wave. So what I'll do is I'll drop down to the hourly chart and check to see what's taking place within this recent move to the upside. And so we had this move to the upside followed by this corrective move made up of a WXY structure. So if I bring in the Fib tool and bring this down to 19.93 cents, so yeah, here you can see that we actually failed to retrace towards the 1.6 minute level. So it's very much possible that what we ended up having forming was a WXY structure, where this was the W wave, this was the X wave, and this was the Y wave. And then we had this corrective move to the downside. I believe we ended up breaching past the wave W also. Yeah, so that also confirmed this corrective move as opposed to an impulsive move. So yeah, we had this corrective move to the downside followed by another push to the upside. And so what I'm looking at for right now is for a bigger WXY structure. So if I bring in the Fib tool once again and bring this down to 20.43 cents. And so if I zoom in, you can see that we ended up reaching this level here at 21.9 cents, which is where the 100% retrace level sits at. So we ended up reaching the wave Y target. And so yeah, it looks like we had a bigger WXY structure that played out like so. And then again, we had this corrective move to the downside, followed by another push to the upside. And so what I'm looking at for right now is for a bigger corrective move to the upside, made up of a WXY structure. And so if I remove this and remove some of this, and bring in the Fib tool once again, so here we ended up reaching 21.9 cents, and we ended up reaching 20.96 cents. And so the Y wave typically retraces anywhere between 1 to 1.226. And yeah, we more or less reached the 100% retracement level at 23.13 cents. And so yeah, it looks like we have a potential WXY structure that's forming right now. For us to be bullish, what we need is for the price of Link to retrace towards the 1.6 minute level at 24.63 cents. If we get rejected within this region, then it's very much possible that we could see a retracement to the downside, which could retrace anywhere between 50% to 88.2% of the wave W, which is what I'm looking at for right now. So it's very much possible that what we are forming is a bigger WXY structure to the upside, like so. And so Link could potentially reach anywhere between 20.18 cents to 21.41 cents if we get rejected within this region. And again, if we continue to set move to the upside where we then retrace towards this level, then that would then trigger a 5-wave structure and we could see that continuation to the upside. So if I remove this and check to see what's taking place within this Y wave, and it does look like we had a 5-wave structure that formed, where this move here was the wave 1 and this was wave 2, and then we had the wave 3, 4, and 5, like so. So what I do is check to see if this 5th wave met the typical range, which it did. So the 5th wave typically retraces anywhere between 1.236 to 1.618. And as you can see, we ended up reaching 23.13 cents. And so if we continue to see this move to the downside and the price of Link ends up breaching past the wave 4, then that will then signal that we topped off, and we could have this double XY structure that's in play, and we could then see that retracement to the downside, which is anywhere between 50 to 88.2%, followed by another push to the upside, where we can then see the wave Y play out on the macro level. But of course, that's something I'm going to be tracking in the days and weeks to come, and I'll be keeping you guys updated. So yeah, that's just my update on Link. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit the like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.